Hello, my name is Tony Benson with Wealth Builders HQ and creator of Patterns in a Flash. Welcome out to the Pattern of the Week review. We're going to go over the charts that we looked at last week and take a look and see how they played out, if they did at all, because we never know what's going to happen, right? But before we do that, let's get the disclaimer out of the way. I'm not a registered broker, dealer, investment advisor. I will not give you any recommendations or advice. Everything you do here is purely for educational purposes. If I do mention a trade, just assume that it is a paper trade or a practice trade. For regulatory reasons, we do not discuss funded trading here. So we looked at CVS and RWM. So let's pop over the charts real quick and see what they gave us. CW. Where did they go? There's one. Okay, there's. What was it? Oh, CVS. CVS. Thank you. There it is right there. I got a little lost on my own. So RWM is an ETF. I usually don't highlight these. I don't necessarily even look at them. I do trade a couple of them a little bit. They do pop up on the radar. They're inside my scans. Typically, they show up because they're just like stocks, right? And this one happened to have a really nice pattern. It did at the time we looked at it. And it still does, actually. Even though today it dropped off. You can see we've got a nice symmetrical triangle. You see there's a little cleaner on the line charts, but there's a nice, beautiful symmetrical triangle. The potential run is $1.71, not a lot, but it's also only a $22, $23 stock. So not a tremendous amount of risk there, not a tremendous upside either. It's not a Tesla or an Amazon, but at the same time, it's all relative, right? If you want to go buy an option on Tesla, you're going to spend $50 or $80, right? So one contract's going to cost you $5,000 or $8,000. Amazon's even worse. Where this thing, I'm going to guess they're probably $1 or so. So if you got 50 or 80 grand, if you got 5 or 8 grand you want to dump into a trade, you can buy 50 contracts of this. And if you get a 10% move, it's going to give you the same results as one contract on Tesla if Tesla moves 10%. That's why, I don't trade the Amazons and the big ones like that. Why? Why tie up that much cash and you get a 10% move when I can go to Alcoa, it's an $89 stock, and pick up options for $3 or $4 or $5. And instead of, if you're going to put 50 grand into 10 contracts on Tesla, put 50 grand into 100 contracts on Alcoa. You get a 10% move on it, you get the same thing. And Alcoa actually, believe it or not, moves percentage-wise a lot more than Tesla does. It was up, I think, 5 points last time I saw it today. It was right before the close, 5.5. It was at 82 yesterday. That's like 6 or 7 points in one day. Alcoa actually moves percentage-wise more than a lot of stocks. That's why I love trading it. Even though it doesn't seem to be massively volatile, and then the options aren't super expensive. When it used to trade around 15 or 20 bucks, I was paying $1 for an option on Alcoa, much like this. So the beauty is, if you got lots of money to play with, when you got to learn to look at the percentage moves, not the dollar moves. Because you can put a boatload of money into an Amazon trade and get percentage-wise the same thing you get out of Alcoa. But your leverage, if you buy 10 contracts of Alcoa versus 10 contracts of Amazon, and you get the same percentage move in the stock, but if you put the same dollar amount, you get far more leverage because you might buy 1 contract of Amazon and 10 contracts of Alcoa. That means you're going to get 10 times as much cash out of it on the same percentage move. Duh. I don't know. Sorry. It's a little pet peeve of mine, if you will. Shrinking the chart down a little bit so you can see it. So the trading plan is there. I put the stop at 23.38, and then a target of 25.27 with an entry of 23.85. Now, this obviously is only going to play out if it moves back to the upside. This is the Russell. This is the short Russell. So this is one that when the Russell goes down, this one goes up. Or no, excuse me, the other way around. It's the short. So there are short ETFs which go up when the market is going down, right? So they short the markets. This one shorts the Russell. So you can see in 2020, when the Russell was raging up, this was going down and getting hammered. When the Russell went sideways, this went sideways. If the Russell continues to drop, this will actually go up. So for those of you that either don't know how to short, don't like to play short, you only want to play the bullish side, this may be a vehicle for you to look at. Look at some of the ETFs that play the short side of certain sectors or the markets. And that's a way to go if the market does continue to trend lower and gets really bearish in the next year or two, which it looks like it will. You may want to look at these. You can buy these things and hold them for a year, and maybe, I don't know, who knows how high they're going to go, but I don't do anything really long term. I've got a couple a little bit longer term positions. I do have one of these ETFs. It's not the Pro Shares. It is the, what's the other one? There's several brands out there now. It's hard to keep it straight because 20 years ago when we had this, we had like 3. You had the Qs, the Spiders, and the Diamonds. And they were new at that time. So now there's a whole plethora of ETFs because fund managers have figured out that's what a lot of people want. So anyway, so that's the pattern on there. The other one, CVS. We had a Head and Shoulders when I highlighted this, and then it's still, if it rolls over from here, it still would be considered a Head and Shoulders because I think it was right back here we looked at it, or somewhere in here where it had rolled over. It hadn't broken up like it has here in the last few days. But we were looking for Head and Shoulders. If this thing broke down, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, if it broke down, we had some pretty solid potential. About almost $10 worth. I put the trading plan a little short of that. Figure, you know what? If it drops down to here, get out of it. If it breaks here, re-enter it. And then ride it hopefully down to 88. But right now, that's been negated. Unless, if this thing rolls over, we'd have another right shoulder, but it's going to take a while to get back to that spot. So, a couple other ones. AVTR is another one that we looked at. The vertical line there is where we looked at that. So, this one, as you can see, worked out pretty beautifully. You can see, right, it actually took 3 days. Whoops. 3 days to hit the target. It entered it one day and hit the next. So you would have made whatever. I mean, that's a $2.30. That's about a 7-8% move. You would have made probably 70 to 80% rate of return on an option trade there if you bought puts. BABA is an interesting one. We looked at it there and didn't have a trading plan because wasn't sure if it was going to break to the upside or to the downside. And obviously it broke to the downside and took off big time to the downside. A lot of this has to do with the Chinese stuff that's going on over in China. This is all news driven. It's not necessarily pattern driven. So sometimes it's hard to figure those ones out. It's virtually impossible actually a lot of times. CFG, here's another one. We had a nice, beautiful double top, right? Double top, triple top, whatever you want to call it. And then the midpoint was right here and played the break of this. Boom. 49 to 45. Didn't quite get there, but if you're using stops and you would have stopped out hopefully this day, or you should be scaling out and taking portions of it out. And that's it for the review. So those are all the ones we looked at, and we'll keep them coming. So let me get... there's one thing. If you're going to fail at quitting, you're going to fail... I can't even remember my own slogan. If you're going to fail at just one thing, fail at quitting. Y'all take care. God bless.
Folks, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the training. Now, if you did, be sure to give us a thumbs up and go ahead and hit the subscribe button right over here and hit the bell to keep up with all the latest trading content. And oh, did you know that we have a podcast? Supercharge your trading education with the Stock Market Millionaire, which you can find in the description down below. And while you're there, you can also find other amazing free trading resources that I've put together just for you.